Good morning, viewers. Thank you very much. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from the political command center in Africa, somewhere. Thank you very much. Good morning. As you see today, we are fully fledged with the panel of about 6 people. All of us will be on this panel on our show. This show is an interesting show. It is an unfiltered show. Does the Deputy President have a tooth, that the front tooth that he has not told us about? You are going to hear something. I heard it from a professor from Germany who comes from his village, who was in his school. Kumbe is fake like that teeth. I'm going to show you the video, that the link, the audio that I have sent to Stephen, to prove that telling lies, you begin with your own teeth. Good morning. Thank you very much. It's unfiltered. Today we are going to unfilter people and tell the truth, but nothing but the truth. We are not here to quote anybody. Quoting people is the worst mistake that you can do. Quoting disaster is also quoting and quoting. If you are quoting disaster, you leave it, you scatter around. But if you are putting a blanket on disaster, you wait until it comes back for you. We want to take this opportunity to thank the British government, the American government, the United Nations, the EU, for putting confidence and reassuring the people of Kenya that all the things that we have said about institutions that are to conduct free and fair elections have been addressed. I want to make it very categorical and very clear that I want to thank the government of the Republic of Kenya for listening to us and for listening to Dr. David Matsanga and his team, for having all the time exposing and telling the loopholes. And I want also to thank the IEBC and the people, the DCI, for example, the police in Kenya, the Security National Intelligence Services of Kenya, for having been candid to listen to some of our cries about the IEBC and having taken action on the IEBC, and for IEBC having listened and gone back on table and dialogue to discuss these things without bringing to the public glare. Our role in this, we are only investigative journalists. I was only doing my job as an investigative journalist to point out, to highlight the difficulties, the obstacles, the barricades, the blockades that were ahead. But I want to thank the chairman of IEBC, the director of DCI, the director of NIS, the Inspector General of Police, the government of the Republic of Kenya in general, and all security agencies, and the judiciary, and all the people for having listened to us, especially to my voice, about the concerns and the pitfalls of insanity towards this election. As you are aware, the headline is very clear. The panel will understand that they have resolved all issues that lead to any uncertainty in the elections. And therefore, from this week, 2 days ago, we shall not be discussing, we shall not be talking anything much about the IEBC and its election procedures and so on. We shall only talk aftermath of the elections, and I'll make my statements very clear after the elections on 10th, 11th, 12th about what will come out. So for now, I want to thank my teams. I want to thank the Meru, Nakuru, Bungoma, Mombasa, Kiambu, Trans Nzoia, Nairobi. I want to thank also my investigative journalists, one embedded to various units. I want to thank the network, my team in Paris, and I want to thank my team in London. I want to thank my backup team of Azimio border unit. Thank you very much, Azimio border units. Across diaspora border units. If you can go on your WhatsApp, it is Google it up. It's one of the most active units. Keep it up. I've set it up in order to monitor. But for now, we shall cease fire. We shall wait. We shall not say anything that can disrupt the smooth running of elections in the Republic of Kenya. It is up to Kenyans to wake up. We call upon those voters. But it doesn't mean we have no side. I have a side. And my side is where President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is. That is my side. He has been my friend. I will remain his friend. Whether I am in Kenya, whether I'm outside Kenya, whether I'm going to die, I'll remain his friend. Why? I was not paid to remain a friend. Why? I was not bought. Neither did I buy friendship. But he imagines that people who buy friendship, who bought friendship, who are paid to be friends, turn out to be opportunists when they want to do things that endanger others. I am a great friend of the people of Kenya, and whatever I've done in the last 15 years in the Republic of Kenya since I stepped in the market waters remains the friendship of the people of Kenya. If I've said what I've said, it has built this country, Kenya. So I thank you all that is my statement that I wanted to make. I thank the IG, the security agencies, all national security intelligence, the Inspector General of Police, the DCI, and the IEBC for having sat down and looked at the problems we as journalists, investigative journalists, had brought on board about the shortcomings of this type of elections. Now that is water under the bridge. We move on. We call upon people to unite, to speak. If they have difficulty, they can solve them behind the scenes, but not to incite, to ignite, to trigger chaos amongst the people of Kenya. It is a fragile state where we have allowed even mafia to take part, even when you have taken money. If you have taken money, you have 200 million shillings, surely. Me, Dr. Matanga, who doesn't have even 1 million, even 100,000 on an account, waiting, I can explain where it came from. But the people who have 200 million that don't know how it arrived on their accounts, it is a very sorry state. Miriam, I take this opportunity to thank all of you and to thank on behalf of Punchline Africa TV for the work, the good work all of you have done, and on behalf of the legacy trend, for all of you, my people in 47 counties, for the great job you have done, for the great 4 a.m. when you have woken up, when I've woken up, all the time from 4 a.m. I've been saying what is coming out to be true. And it will be true. We shall celebrate at an hour when God allows us to celebrate. Thank you very much. Let's begin the show. The Unfiltered, the week that was. And Miriam will take us through. I want a roll call, Gladwell from Kiambu. Good morning. Just to say good morning, greet the people.
A very good morning to Dr. David Matsanga. Good morning to Miriam. Good morning to my fellow panelists. Good morning to our viewers.
Thank you very much for being brief today. And you look smart in that hat. Can you show us here that hat of the legacy trend, please? Show it to us. Yes, that is the hat of His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta for the legacy trend. Good morning, Africa. And in Nakuru, test your microphone. My brother Kiptano, you have been there with me for the last 5, 6, 7 years. We have been friends. Thank you very much. Test the microphone.
A very good morning to you, Dr. David. A very good morning to my fellow correspondents. I'm joining you live from Nakuru, CBD. Thank you.
I believe you will tell us more about the rally of yesterday.
I will.
And across the mountains of Mount Kenya, where is your heart today, Mr. Legacy? Where have you thrown it? The man who went to investigate the Dolphin Hotel, inside the Dolphin. There is a documentary I'm doing for you, inside the Dolphin. It is going to be very interesting, and it is you coming up inside the Dolphin with the Dolphin Hotel of William Ruto. Good morning, Douglas Kirimi from Meru.
A very good morning to you, Dr. David, and also to Miriam Ogutu, and also to my co-panelists, and also to our friends across the world. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where they're watching us from. Thank you for having me on the show, Doctor.
Thank you very much. Across the bridge, Paul Onyango, our man from Rao headquarters. Paul Onyango, our man from the CBD of Nairobi, staunch supporter of Azimio, a man who knows many things but talks very little, a man who can use a drone.
Yes, available.
Where you are. Talk
Good morning, everyone.
Yes.
Our friends, co-panelists, especially Dr. Masanga. May God give you more life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul Onyango. Thank you for standing with us at the time when we needed you. Back to the studio. Good morning, Miriam, our able coordinator of the program's anchor and one of our senior people in Punchline Africa TV. We have been together with Miriam for the last 4 years or so. We have analyzed events. They have come true. We have remained together despite the challenges. Madam, good morning, Miriam Ogutu.
Good morning to you and good morning to our viewers.
Take it away from there now. There you are. You have the papers. And welcome to the show. I am Dr. David Manzi Matanga, the son of soil. Thank you.
Very well. And on the leading newspapers headlines this morning, the Daily Nation, IEBC calls talks, a visit by political party agents to Athens, agrees to supervise printing of election material, has raised questions on the supply of extra presidential results declaration forms that the Ruto and Raila camps want answers to. And IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati has called a meeting today with presidential candidates to address the fears surrounding the statutory document that led to nullification of the presidential vote in 2017. That story is on page 14. Rigathi loses 200 million Kenya shillings dirty cash to state. A village of young widows, that is on page 10. A pay rise in disguise for MPs, that is on the back page, and EABL profits more than double to 15.6 billion Kenya shillings. We go to the Star newspaper, the main headline, Raila versus Ruto, the Mudavadi Kalonzo factor. They have many historical similarities, hope to resurrect careers. That story is on page 6. And new salaries for state officers, that is also a story. MPs, MCAs, land switch deal in new SRC pay packs. That story is on page 45. The Standard newspaper, why Gachagua lost 202 million Kenya shillings to the state after 3 years of investigations and trips to the court. UDA presidential running mate will lose his millions in the wake of ruling that money from the government agencies was acquired through corruption. That story is on the inside of the Standard newspaper. And no pay rise for president as MPs lose allowances. That story is on page 5. And NYS suspects to face fresh 1 billion Kenya shillings trial. That story is on page 22. And Africa at center of new Cold War. That story is on page 32. And Shujaa begin Commonwealth medal hunt. You'll find that on page 42 and 43. And before we move on to maybe the other papers, there is an update over a meeting. I think I've not seen it here on the front pages, even as President Uhuru Kenyatta winds up his tenure in office. And yesterday, President Uhuru Kenyatta was commended for his leadership role in the revitalization of the African peer review mechanism. The APRM, a specialized agency of the African Union initiated in 2002 and established in 2003, provides an avenue for member countries to undertake self-assessment in all aspects of governance and social-economic development for the benefit of their citizens. President Julius Maada Bio of Sierra Leone, who is also the current chairperson of the African Peer Forum of Heads of State and Government, on Thursday led African leaders in praising President Kenyatta for his diligence and commitment to entrenching good governance across the African continent through the APRM tool. The leaders spoke during the virtual second special summit of the APR Forum of Heads of State and Government, where the targeted review report on Kenya's Big Four agenda pillars was presented. So that is something important that happened yesterday. I've not seen it captured on the headlines of the leading newspapers. So back to you, Doc.
Thank you very much, Miriam. As I now you'd say thank you very much, and I'm also saying thank you. This is Good Morning Africa and the African news. Daily news of Zimbabwe. Opposition was stalling progress in Zimbabwe. The opposition in Zimbabwe still fractures and still fighting amongst themselves. That's the daily news of Zimbabwe. The new types of Rwanda. High freight rates cast a shadow over horticulture exports prospect from Rwanda. You know very well, all of us who do business from Rwanda know very well the high costs of rates for a container to arrive from Kigali up to Mombasa. We charge like $300,000 to $400,000, and it is very expensive on the way. A container, 40-feet container, carrying goods. So Miriam, there you are, and people who do legit business, that is exactly, the cost is high, but also taking out horticulture from Rwanda, because Rwanda is a hilly airport. The airlines that tend to take out the horticulture to arrive in Europe, you have to go through Brussels as the center point, Sabina Airlines. It used to go, you can take so many days, yet you are coming to a very nearby place. So the costs are very high. Newsday, no joy in the budget in Zimbabwe. Mutuli Kube budget, it didn't give them any joy. They say it is reading figures which are very difficult. Miriam, you can't believe of $1 trillion note. I don't know. That is a very sorry state of that country. In Uganda, New Vision, civil servants allowances, government tightens rules. And then there is a win in one of the by-elections in Uganda, in Soroti, a city where Ariko came #1, winning, removing it from the FDC, which have held that seat for many years. The Guardian of Nigeria talks about FG admits failure as opposition lawmakers insist on impeaching Buhari. There is something moving in Nigeria where Buhari could be impeached by the Senate and being the first president in Nigeria to be removed from the power, because even the opposition and the government senators have joined hands. They want to impeach Mr. Buhari and bring him down to go back to his residence, and then later on God can call him from there. Those are the news that I have managed to grab. No, there is more. The Nation paper of Nigeria says impeachment. APC moves to stop PDB Romel gas gang up, but it is already too late. Opposition members in the Senate are more in Nigeria than they are the party, senators. So if they gang up with some few people who hate Buhari because they haven't eaten, they will bring Mr. Buhari to an impeachment table. The citizen of Tanzania, a record year beckons as banks make profit and the profit rises. Tanzania is making some progress quietly, Miriam, believe me or not. I was talking to the Chief of Defense Forces of TPDF a few days ago. He used to be a very young, not young, he's older than me that time of the 1978. And he said, hapa tunajenga nchi, tuko kwa majengo tu, tutaki kufikia vurugu. So when you have an army backing you to do your work, and even the army coming out in the barracks to bring graders, to break up Tanzania, to find out. You know, Miriam, there is one thing that now gives me hope, that why these people scrambled for Africa. They knew every mineral was here. Have you realized that everybody is coming to discover oil? Zimbabwe now has discovered oil, and there is a very great rush there. In the middle of Tanzania, in those areas where the diamonds in Shinyanga are, south of Shinyanga near Lake Tanganyika, there seem to be very hot springs that are coming up, and everybody is running there. People are doing exploration. Now I know why. One of the reasons of petitioning and scramble for Africa, that one, they knew it, we didn't know. For example, Kenyans in this country did not know that there was oil in Turkana. Miriam, when did you know when there was oil? Isn't it recently? We didn't know. It was during Kibaki that everybody woke up and said, But these guys knew the maps. They took the maps, they surveyed, they saw the oil and they took the maps and they hid them. They didn't want to tell people. They kept on keeping Turkana people, food Turkana, food Turkana, food Turkana, relief Turkana. But there was oil which could have served this country, and Kenya would have developed faster than even in Dubai today. I'm telling you in the name of God. If they knew this, they would have developed faster. Then another newspaper that is making headlines is the Citizen and the Daily News of Tanzania. What RG means, RC's rejig means, Miriam can explain that because you can read, my letters are very small. When you are talking, symposium extols Samia's 4 R's. Reconstruction, reconstruction, reconstruction. You know, rebuilding, reconstructing, restructuring. You know, she is using the model Matanga said, the 4 R's. If you don't do the 4 R's, then you have no value. The Guardian of United Kingdom, energy farmers profit surge in South working people. Then we have a picture of the Commonwealth in Birmingham. Last night, most of you who watched, there are some countries that you don't know. That's why we have 210 countries in the world, Miriam, and the people don't know some of the countries. There is a country which is as small as 10,000 kilometers, square kilometers, 10,000 in this world, and it is a member of the United Nations. We didn't know. Some people don't know it. But there are countries, especially islands in the Pacific Ocean, that the British Empire took over, that you cannot change. They speak English, they behave like us, they have the Commonwealth, they have the courts. Yesterday we saw them lining up in Birmingham. And that is, Birmingham City is a cosmopolitan city of all people from Zimbabwe, Uganda, the Asian community, Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, Jamaica. Oh my God, that is a very good city to live in. It is more or less like Kisumu or Nairobi or Chisenyi in Kampala or Dar es Salaam, Musasani. The Daily Telegraph, NHS faces crackdown on puberty blockers. It is very serious. Also, NHS is selling, some people are selling days in order to go for holiday. It is sad. This has caught up everybody in these countries. And you see the type is coming everywhere. Miriam, that is the headline on the Daily News and then the Daily Telegraph. That marks the end of the newspapers. In the headlines, we can now go straight to the topics, beginning with those of Kenya, that anybody who feels has picked something on it, we can start, and Miriam will guide us. Thank you. Back to you in the studios in Nairobi.
Very well. And we start with a story on page 8. A Madeira Member of Parliament, Rigathi, has lost 202 million Kenya shillings to the state after the High Court in Nairobi ruled that the money held in 3 accounts were proceeds of corruption. Justice Esther Maina said the MP, who is the running mate of Deputy President William Ruto, failed to explain how he acquired the wealth from government agencies. In her verdict on the forfeiture suit filed by AAR last year, the judge said, in fact, he admitted receiving the funds from government agencies and entities, but there was nothing to show he performed any contract. He only produced a letter dated February 9, 2015, from a ministry indicating Wamunyoro Investments Limited had been awarded a tender. The judge said, based on the contract letter, the MP was required to execute a contract, but no evidence was adduced in court showing the tender was executed or performed. So perhaps the question is, even as the panelists come in and discuss this part as we move forward, the court has established this money was a proceed of corruption and they have recovered it. So that means Gachagua has been indicted in that regard. So is he fit now to still hold a public office? Because with that means he is a corrupt person and the court has proved that. So anybody can just take on the conversation.
Let me have a punch here first, then allow others to do. Look, Miriam, it is a solemn state that we have such a person coming in, going to stand as a deputy president. He has been, whether he makes the appeal or not, the appeal is just for busy show. If I were him, I would just tender to garner more votes for the people of UDA. I would just say, I am sorry, I cannot move forward. I want my party to win. And when they win, they can consider me with anything else. But for now, the party can find another deputy presidential running mate. And that is why the Wazungu, the white people, defeat us on morality and integrity. There is no white European who would persist to go on and be in an election. Miriam, honestly, to be in an election when they have just indicted you that you drove a car and passed a red light, and you are a leader of government, a leader of business of government, that you passed a red light, Miriam, you will not stand. You will just pull out and say, let the elections choose another person. Whether the election is postponed, it doesn't matter now. They are not bothered. Because in UK, election can be done in a week. All of us have voters' cards. You know, did you know that? We have them waiting. I don't know why Chebukati, after this, should learn what to do. Let the election bodies in Kenya learn something from those people. Have a vote. I have the voter card ready in my house. They even ask you if the election is next month. They will ask you either to start writing, filling it and the post, and tick whoever you want to. They send you the vote. They send you the voter. The vote itself, Miriam, this is how, I think, I don't know whether we shall reach that stage, where a vote comes to your house. But for us, if you send a vote to someone, he's going to photocopy and make it like 10 copies. If you send to Ruto, you see, how many of you knew that Ruto had the fake teeth? His teeth, the front one, is fake. Now you are going to see in our second phase. But these are some of the challenges, and I believe for me, all what I can say on this small is just get out. Get out and vote this guy out. Jermaine, get out. You Kenyans who are voters, please get out and vote this team out. Let you begin on a fresh slate. This country is the only hope for Africa, surely. This nation is the only hope for Africa. Don't vote a thief. Don't vote a man whom you know. You know what Chikoya might have come up with. People are hating Wachikoya for nothing. But the only thing that you need to do in Kenya, you have to kill some people on theft. Those or hang them. Miriam, until we hang some people, until we hear Mr. Waruke is in prison. He's not on a ballot paper. Until we hear he's in prison, 67 years. Not to hear he's running a seat in Chebu. Not to hear Kajakwa is running for a vice presidency. This is when Africa will wake up. This is when Africa will work. My time that I have spent in Kenya for 15 years, I've made a tremendous contribution. First, I came when there was turmoil. People wanted to deliver others to Hague. I refused. And I have no regrets for anybody to tell me any nonsense. I've made progress. I stabilized the ICC train. It would have sunk you Kenyans. Remember, go back, Tanui, go back and think very seriously. Think. You would have gone down. You would not be a nation today and go around and say we are happy. The way Ocampo wanted to dismember this nation, this country would have been at war. But some of us stood in the middle. Some of us made this noise. Some of us who you call names, insult every day, made this noise. And then the truth came out. We saved the nation. I did. I took part. I'm proud. I'm proud. And I'm not seeking any reward. But I'm proud, Miriam, that when I look back at the journey, 15 years ago when I landed with Sky News crew in 2007, I landed on 27th of December in Intercontinental Hotel. I feel happy. When I go back to my house, and look at the footage, the footage that I picked as a Sky News consultant for Africa of who did what and what they did it in the Rift Valley. What happened in Eldoret? We are the first people, journalists, on the scene when the church, the bodies were smelling. When I look at that, I feel I'm a happy man. I can walk and go home. Somebody should tell someone that please don't tell people to revisit what happened 15 years ago. Therefore, such actions like this question of allowing people mafia to take part in an election is not, the electoral body can do nothing. When you have sent them the people, they will give them the certificate. We have not done, we can't blame one person alone. No way. Let's blame ourselves. Let's blame those people who refuse to change the constitution. Let's blame people who refuse to talk the question of integrity. Now the one side is blaming the court. When the court goes on them, they will blame the other side. Then when the court goes back with them, they don't blame. That is not the politics. Let's look at 15 years back. Where was this country going without some of our voices, like mine, standing up single-handedly, being insulted every day by even the agencies that are today enjoying the fruits, the gentlemen that are enjoying the fruits today. I am here. Therefore, as an African, you can't live in an island alone. But the worst thing is not to lose a state. I submit.
Mm-hmm. And the Standard newspaper has a bit of a breakdown of that money. 19 billion Kenya shillings, that's the total amount transacted in Rigathi's accounts between 2013 and 2020. And then 7.3 billion Kenya shillings, that is the amount received in his 3 accounts at Rafiki Microfinance Bank. 27 million Kenya shillings, amount received from the county government of Nyeri in May 2015. And 112 million Kenya shillings, the amount received from the county governments of Bungoma and Kwale. So perhaps Douglas, you could go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Miriam. What we are looking at is a situation where we have hybrid political and economic conmen masquerading as leaders of tomorrow. In the next 9 days or 8 days or so, these people are going to present themselves on a ticket, and the people of Kenya, being who they are going to vote for them en masse because they bought populist rice, because they bought innuendos and propaganda from these thieves who have been stealing their future and the future of their children. And when we look at these people, Miriam, their record has shown that these people are criminals, these people are thieves. I want to be shown a report where the Right Honorable Raila Odinga stashed millions of shillings from the public, except a few issues where people have also accused him of buying government property in 1980s and 1990s when public property was being privatized. I have no record of Raila Odinga stealing billions of shillings from the people of Kenya. I have no record of Raila Odinga or Professor George stealing billions of shillings that was meant for the education of the people of Kenya. Remember, we had a PS Berio Kipsang who stole millions of shillings from the Ministry of Education. When he was asked how he did it, he said that proxies, people use proxies to so that it can be framed, like many others before him. Miriam, we need to also come to a conclusive end on the matter of corruption. Corruption is at the ballot on August, the next 8 to 9 days, Miriam. Corruption is at the ballot from MCA, a member of parliament, governor, senator, and president. But on this issue of presidency, Miriam, if the drivers of this economy, if the president, the next president is going to be a corrupt man, if the next president is going to be a criminal, an economic saboteur for his own country, how do you expect, Miriam, to have a country after people have stolen and also Their money has also been taken away by government. But these people are just politicizing everything, Miriam. There are so many people who have more money than Rigathi Gachagua, who have worked for money in this country. The government has not taken that money. Why is Rigathi Gachagua today being presented at the ballot for us, the people of Kenya, to vote for their ticket? We've had stories, horror stories of people who could not access clean drinking water. School-going children cannot access classrooms because people stashed money that was meant for CDF. But these people are running for governorship. These people are running for Senate. There are people in Meru who have stolen the future of our children. There are people in Meru who have taken money that was meant for COVID-19 patients, COVID-19 beds, but they are running again to be governors in this county. There are people in Meru who are running to become MCAs, who are running local primary schools and local secondary schools. They ran them to death. We have Rigathi Gachagua, who has ran the Madira CDF down to the dogs. He has made sure that every other department in government that he had an access to, he has stolen from that place, Miriam. But today, we are being presented Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto on a joint ticket for us to vote for him. I believe, from my perspective, Miriam, that in this country, we have never acted short of mad people who are going to vote for such a criminal, such a saboteur, a person that has been presented on the ballot for us to vote for him, so that we, the people of Kenya, will continue suffering for the next 5 years, Miriam. When will the people of Kenya learn? After now, the next stage is when their children are going to drop out of school, because school-going children are not going to report to school, because Rigathi Gachagua and co are going to also steal the future of their children. Miriam, we have a country to run, we have a country to come back to, and people should understand that as you vote for a criminal, as you vote for an economic saboteur, a man with economic crimes, you are voting to disequate your children from the equality that their country and their constitution presents to every Kenyan in this country. There are school-going children who are studying in day schools in this country, Miriam. Their tuition is taken care of by government. What will happen when Rigathi Gachagua hand dips into fingers and hands in that public coffer or the Ministry of Education kitty? What will happen to Rigathi Gachagua's hands when they dip themselves into the kitty that is meant for development of roads, Miriam? What will happen to Rigathi Gachagua if they steal money or conditional grants from World Bank and other development institutions that is meant for development of our roads in this country, Miriam? We have a country to come back to. Please don't auction your brains, do not auction your votes in the name of popularizing a criminal and an economic saboteur. The government of the Republic of Kenya has taken over 200 million from Rigathi Gachagua, money that is said to come from crime, Miriam. This money, the government said that Rigathi Gachagua, with the best lawyers across the country and across the world, cannot prove to courts that he earned that money the right way, Miriam. And in the next 8 to 10 days, this is the very same man, Miriam, that I'm asked to vote for to become my deputy president, so that he can continue stealing and also auctioning the future of this country to corruption. It has come to a point where we have to put an end to corruption cartels in this country, starting with Rigathi Gachagua and Mr. William Ruto. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you so much. And if we can remember, about just slightly 2 weeks ago, during the deputy presidential running mate, debate, where, Rigathi said that his wealth is estimated is just about 800 million Kenya shillings. But from this story, this money that the government has recovered through assets recovery, the 202 million Kenya shillings is just a very small fraction of it, as the money in question has been 19 billion that he is suspected to have acquired through trading with various government agencies in just 7 years between 2013 and 2020. And we saw him trying to justify that when he was bringing up the issue of state capture and things like that. So perhaps, and I think one of the things that he said when he was being questioned about this is, this case has been in court for this amount of time. It has not moved, so that tells you it's just politics. Do you think this is what might have triggered the judge to make this ruling, or what was the court waiting all this time? Gladwell.
Miriam, let's go back 2 steps behind. You know, when the court, a while back during the BBI, the same people, they pressed the court for ending BBI and even invoked God's name, claiming that it was victory. Now he's